shit.
Hey everybody, it's Benny1 and I'm back at you with another ranking video, everybody. I'm done with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, everybody. So it's time to stop and rank them after watching them. And remember, this is just my personal ranking of these movies. We all have our own little opinions on movies, so we all view movies differently. And just because I gave a movie a good score in a review does not mean it might be placed higher than some other movie on this list, because rankings are a little different because they're more of a personal opinion, and rewatchability plays a lot into how I rank movies. So there's 6 theatrically released Ninja Turtle movies. One of them is animated, the other 5 are live action, everybody. So let's dive into this shit. Right off the bat, at number 6 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Number 3, everyone. This is the one where they go back in time to feudal Japan. And I don't know what they were thinking about with this movie. They could have easily took some of the characters from the lore, the comic books, the animated show, like easily. They had a plethora of characters they could have decided to go with, but they decided to use a generic time travel story where they go to feudal Japan, and there's no other characters in the movie. They brought Casey Jones back from the first Turtles movie and completely misused him. He was completely misused. And then the turtle puppet, the costumes that the Henson company made, Jim Henson made in this movie, they were overproduced. Like, the faces looked weird, and it was weird compared to the first 2 movies. So yeah, this is easily the worst Ninja Turtles movie for me, at least. After this one, I think the other 5 movies are they're a step or 2 up from where this one is. So that was number 6. Number 5 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, the newest Turtles movie that came out in 2016. And we finally got that main group of characters in a whole Ninja Turtles movie, because they brought Casey Jones into this movie. Bebop got introduced, Rocksteady got introduced, Shredder was not in a robotic suit, and then Krang was in the movie. Dimension X, the Technodrome, all of it. It was all in this movie. The problem with the movie is they didn't do a very good job writing a story around all of it. Casey Jones, Stephen Amell's Casey Jones, completely misused, completely underutilized. They had a great person cast to play that character that could do a lot of the stunts on his own, because he did them in Arrow, and they totally misused his character. Shredder was very underutilized in this movie. I get it, Krang is supposed to be the big bad villain, but yeah, Shredder was very underutilized. Splinter almost had no part in the movie. The brothers, the Turtles themselves, were great. They did a good job with that aspect of it, but there was just a whole lot going on in the movie, and the writers you could tell that they just couldn't quite figure out what to give screen time to and you just could tell they couldn't quite hammer a good script out. So Bebop and Rocksteady were good though. So that's why that one was at number 5. Number 4 is going to be TMNT, the 2007 animated Turtles movie. Yes, it was released in the movie theaters in 2007. And like I said in my review, this movie captures, I think, the brothers the best from the comic books. Like, it really does. It captures the way that they were in the comic books, their origin, because that's where they came from, was a comic book. That's the one thing about this animated movie, and it has a great voice cast. But they chose once again to have them face just some random villain. Like, it's not a turtle villain. It's just some random villain. And this movie does take place after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and 3, because it mentions stuff that happened in the other 3 movies. So it does fit in the timeline and everything. And the animation was really good for when it came out. It still holds up fairly well, but yeah, if they would have brought in like Bebop and Rocksteady, or maybe told a story with Krang and Dimension X, like, this animated movie could be number 1 easily. Like, if it actually would have had more of a normal Ninja Turtles storyline, this movie could have easily been number 1, because half of it is really good, and then the other half I was just like, why did you guys choose to do a story like that? So, but for an animated feature, I thought they did a pretty good job. So that was number 4. Number 3 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2014 reboot. That's right. Michael Bay was brought on to produce and new Ninja Turtles. And you know what? For it being a reboot of the Ninja Turtles franchise, I actually think they did a pretty decent job with it. I enjoy it. Very rewatchable for me. I like the Turtles. I know they're huge. They're like 7 foot. They're big. Shredder's in a huge mech robotic suit, but it makes sense to me because he's got to fight the Turtles, and he can't just fight them as himself. So, and Megan Fox, I actually think does a decent job playing April O'Neil. It's Megan Fox, so if you're going into the movie expecting more from her than what she's giving you in most of her other movies, then you're stupid, in my opinion. But I think she does a good job, and Will Arnett's Vern is her little camera sidekick guy in the movie, and he's entertaining. I like Will Arnett. So, but yeah, and I thought this movie captured that brother bond that the Turtles have really well, and Splinter was awesome in this first movie. That's why the second one, I was like, I don't understand what they did with Splinter. It was almost like they didn't care about him. They're like, hey, push that guy to the side. We don't need him no more. The Turtles are back. They can fight. They beat Shredder. I don't know. But yeah, this one, very good reboot, I think. I think it was a great reboot, even though you could tell Michael Bay was more involved with the movie than executive producers normally are, but I thought it was okay. So that was number 3. Number 2 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original Ninja Turtles movie that came out in 1990. And this is great. It holds up pretty well still for how old it is. It was the first live action Ninja Turtles movie. It was kind of dark compared to all these other movies, I will say that. Shredder seems very villainous and feared. The freaking Jim Henson puppetry work and the animatronics with the turtles, fantastic, especially for when this movie came out. Not my favorite version of the animatronic Henson puppet costumes that they wore. That's in another movie that we're going to talk about. But I thought for the first movie, they really established the brothers and like who they are, what they're like. Raph and Leo have their feud. I wasn't a huge fan of the April O'Neil in this original one. Casey Jones was great in this movie. Easily the best version of Casey Jones in any of these freaking movies. Like any of them. It was a fantastic movie. It had a good story. We got to see a cool fight with the Turtles and Shredder at the end of the movie. It was great. Like, I thought they did a great job. And it, like I said, it was pretty dark. Like, it was, the aesthetics and everything of the movie were just dark. But I do have a movie that I enjoy more than the original one. So that was number 2. Number 1 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Ooze, everybody. That movie was always my favorite one as a kid, and still today as an adult, it is my favorite Ninja Turtles movie, everybody, because I think what that one did was it kept what the first one did and established and everything, but then it brought in like the animated like fill and version of the animated show and mixed it in with that live action darker tone, because they kind of dropped the darker tone, but they kept they brought in that animated shit, and it was fantastic. They kind of did Bebop and Rocksteady, but they were Toka and Razor instead. And they brought in a scientist that was, I'm guessing, is supposed to kind of be like Dr. Baxter, who we actually finally got to see in the newest Turtles movie, but it wasn't them. They actually didn't do Bebop and Rocksteady and Baxter. They brought in these other characters that are very similar to them. And this movie's silly. Like, it's totally silly. I mean, Vanilla Ice literally has a concert at the end of the movie, and the Turtles are dancing with him, so it does get stupid and silly, but it's always been my favorite one, and it still is today. So that was my ranking, everybody, for the Ninja Turtles movies. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want you guys to share down in the comments what you guys would list these, because I know people are going to do these differently. I'm sure a lot of people are going to put the first one, the original one, at number 1, but that's okay, because we all view movies differently, everybody. So, all right, everyone, I'll be catching you on the tube later, because I have spoken.